Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Matt here, and today I'm just highlighting a product that I personally am very fond of. This is not sponsored or anything, but I just received this recently in the mail, so I wanted to do kind of a spotlight on a product that I think works very well. Of course, this is the CZ457 scope base, and as you can see here, this is the new 50 MOA version. Before, this scope base was only available in 15 or 30 MOA cans, but recently new is the 50 MOA version. So I just received this, and it will be replacing the 30 MOA version that's currently on my rifle. Really nice to see that Area 419 is making a 50 MOA version, because of course with people reaching out further and further with their rimfire rifles, people are pushing the amount of cant built into their rails. So we're going to just go ahead and open this so I can show you around. I won't be installing it in this video because it's just such a straightforward process, but again, I just want to highlight this really cool product from Area 419. So let's go ahead and open it here. So it does come with a little Torx driver, and of course the rail itself. Now you can quite clearly see the amount of cant built into it. Again, 50 MOA, so 10 MOA shy of a full degree. And of course you have your standard Picatinny rail on the top there, and a built-in bubble level on the back. Now depending on what height rings you have, the bubble level on the back of these rings can be pretty hard to see if they're tucked away, but if you run high rings, this can actually be used quite effectively. So that is built in there, which is quite nice. And of course you do have the 4 Torx screws on the side that anchor it down onto the 11mm dovetail that's built into the 457 receivers. Now in my mind, the side clamp method that Area 419 has adopted here for the 457 rails is by far the best method of securely attaching a scope base to the 457 receiver. I know that some 457s are actually coming from the CZ factories with a rail on top of it, but they all use the top-down set screws, which I really am not a fan of. This here is an example of a rail that uses that. Now this isn't a CZ brand, but it's very similar. Again, you have 4 set screws on the top. Now, if the screws actually threaded into the receiver, like a lot of center fire actions, I would be totally fine with that. But the fact that these are just set screws really don't give me confidence in the system. And I've actually seen now 3 instances of these scope bases cracking, which really, again, doesn't give me confidence in the set screws. Now, all 3 of the scope bases that I saw crack were the CZ brand rails. And one of them was Kevin. Kevin's in a couple of my videos. He had the CZ scope base crack on him. Essentially, the issue here is you'll see when this is installed, there is an overhang forward of the receiver. And all the cracks I've seen in them have always been in the same spot where that overhang is, because where the set screws are pushing down onto the receiver, it is kind of pushing the rail here up against the lip of the dovetails underneath. And that's putting a lot of pressure upwards on that. And then when you have this overhang here, if you go to hold your scope, you know, a lot of people carry their rifles by their scope and stuff. That puts a lot of upwards pressure and potentially will crack that scope base right along here. Again, I've seen that 3 times, so I'm really not a fan of these set screws. The side clamp method to me is far superior in design. And another bonus of the screws being accessible from the side is you don't have to take your scope off to check the torque. Now, I've never had an Area 419 scope base shift on me or even come loose, but I'm the type of guy that just likes to check all his fasteners every so often. So it's nice that I can just do this quickly without having to remove my scope and rings from the rail in order to do so. Anyway, so again, this is the new 50 MOA version of the Area 419 scope base for the CZ457. In my mind, this is the best option in order to mount a Picatinny rail to the 11mm dovetail on the 457 receivers. Definitely check them out. This is a product I'm very fond of. Again, this is not a sponsored video or anything like that. I'm just excited that they are now offering the scope base in 50 MOA option. That's basically it. Just a quick video again. Hope you guys take care. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.